Welcome to this quiet space where the noise of the world fades away and only the voice of your soul remains. If you're hearing these words right now, it's not a coincidence. The universe is reaching out to you, sending a message that could change the way you see yourself and the way you see life. For a long time, you've walked through things no one else could see. You've smiled while your heart trembled. You've stayed strong even when there was nothing left to hold on to. But today, something is shifting. The energy is turning in your favor. A new door is opening softly, quietly, just enough for you to feel destiny's breath brushing gently against your skin. So let me take you there, slowly. Through each layer of energy, through every whisper meant only for you. Because right now, within the next 72 hours, something extraordinary is about to happen. Aries, in the quiet rhythm of the universe, there are rare moments when time seems to pause. Moments made for souls brave enough to walk through another door, a place where light and shadow become one, where you finally begin to see the path your heart has always wanted to follow. The next 3 days are one of those moments. A sacred opening that comes only once every 12 years when the sky moves in perfect sync with your breath, when the sun leans gently forward and the wheel of fortune begins to turn once more. If your heartbeat slows while hearing these words, it's because your soul remembers this sound, the whisper of destiny. Every choice, every decision in the next 72 hours will be a seed planted in the field of time. The seeds you plant in faith and courage will bloom into light. The ones sown in fear will grow into long shadows that block your way. When was the last time you truly stopped to listen to your own breathing and realize the universe has been speaking to you in the smallest of ways, a dream, a breeze, through an open window, an unexplainable feeling that lingers? These are not coincidences. They're threads being woven into a map guiding you back to yourself. And sometimes the door of destiny doesn't appear in brilliance but in silence. It comes as a still moment so deep that you must choose to cling to the old or to step forward into something unknown. You were born with the fire of rebirth, Aries. Now the universe is clearing the way for that fire to be seen, not through force or conquest, but through the gentle light of awareness. Take one slow breath, feel the movement around you. At this level of energy, nothing is random. Every breath, every sound, every face that crosses your path is saying the same thing. It's time. Do not fear if familiar things begin to fall apart, if doors you once trusted start to close. Collapse is never an ending, it's the clearing before creation. When you walk with trust between the light and the dark, the universe will place in your hands a map not to control life, but to understand it. During these 72 hours, don't run and don't cling. Let the current carry you, the way a river guides a small boat out of a narrow bend. Sometimes true strength isn't in holding on, it's in the grace to let go. When you surrender, the sky moves forward for you. And now, as the door of destiny opens wide, you may sense something few ever notice. Within the brightness of every beginning hides the quiet story of what has not yet been said. There, in that thin space between what is leaving and what is coming, you'll hear it, a soft voice, like breath. The voice of your own heart, preparing to tell the story it's been silent about for far too long. There are kinds of exhaustion that make no sound. They don't show through tears. They hide in quiet eyes, in the faint smile of someone who's been strong for far too long. Sometimes you come home, and the silence inside your heart feels louder than all the noise outside. You don't even know what you're sad about, you just know there's an emptiness growing quietly, like a space no one has touched in years. The star appears to remind you the light never left. It's only been covered by time, by the words you tell yourself, I'm fine. But deep inside, your soul is still trying to find its way back to that first belief, the belief that you are worthy of love, of understanding, and of the freedom to be your true self. The Four of Wands whispers, pause for a moment. Look at how far you've come. even with trembling feet. Every time you forgave, every time you chose silence, not because you were weak, but because you didn't want to hurt anyone, the universe saw it all. Now, the Ace of Cups opens before you, like a flower unfolding after the rain, inviting you back into the flow of your own emotions where tears can fall and your heart can finally breathe again. Maybe for years, you've been the steady one, the anchor, the calm in every storm. You've smiled while your heart cracked, held your own hand so no one would see it tremble. But now, what you need isn't more strength. It's the courage to be soft. Because only in that softness will your true power begin to glow. Imagine this. If you were to set every burden down just for one breath, what would you hear? Maybe the sound of peace returning, as light as wind through the pines. Maybe the sound of your own voice, finally clear beneath the noise of the world. When the heart begins to open, even memories grow gentle. What once hurt now becomes a mirror, reflecting the resilience you've always carried. The silence you've held for so many years was never wasted. It was the soil where new seeds could take root. And now, as you close your eyes, you might sense something shifting softly but unmistakably. As if somewhere in the universe, someone is lighting a candle just for you, whispering, "You've done enough. You can rest now." In that light, the weight doesn't just fall away, it dissolves, blending into the warmth of compassion. Healing begins not through effort, but through permission. When you dare to face your pain, you also invite the light in. Take one more breath, and you'll notice that everything feels different. What once pressed down is lifting, making space for something brighter, lighter, a place where your soul can speak again. And maybe, in that quiet corner of your heart, you'll feel something approaching, a new breeze, a new vibration, as if the universe itself is getting ready to tell you the next part of your story, where light begins to speak with shadow, and truth gently calls your name. Sometimes, the things that exhaust us the most don't come from the storms that roar, but from the soft winds that slip quietly through the cracks of the heart. There is a kind of silent energy, invisible, almost tender, that drains your strength without ever making a sound. It doesn't arrive with thunder. It comes through a gentle smile, a word that sounds kind but carries envy, a glance that makes you suddenly doubt your own light. That person might be closer than you think, so close you can't even see them clearly. A coworker who praises you but secretly compares. A friend who once celebrated your joy but now flinches when you're happy. Or maybe it's someone you love deeply. Someone who truly cares for you but never learned how to honor another's light without feeling small in their own shadow. Each jealous thought, each unconscious wish that you stay small becomes a thread, fine, invisible, wrapping around your energy, slowing your steps, closing the doors that were meant to open. But take a breath, slow, steady. Because even in this moment when it seems darkness has surrounded you, something miraculous is happening. The Ten of Cups appears, the card of joy, reunion, divine light. It does not speak of revenge nor of fighting back. It reminds you light never needs to defeat darkness. It only needs to be turned on. Every time you choose love over resentment, every time you stay silent not from fear but from peace, you light another candle within. And when your inner light grows strong enough, it dissolves every shadow on its own. The universe never asks you to fight anyone, only to stay radiant from within. Look deeper. The one who envies you is also hurting. They haven't yet learned to love themselves, so they cannot love another's brilliance. They don't truly wish you pain. They just can't bear to see someone shine while they're still lost in their own fog. When you understand that, anger softens, judgment fades, and what remains is compassion. And that compassion, that gentle understanding, is the strongest armor of all, because it lifts you to a higher frequency than any negativity can reach. From the moment you forgive, everything begins to move again. What was blocked finds its way back to you. Money, opportunity, joy, serenity, they all start flowing like water returning to the riverbed. If you close your eyes now, You might feel something melting away, not anger, not fear, but the quiet relief of a soul finally set free. You no longer need to prove anything, to win over anyone. You only need to keep shining, because real light isn't something you create, it's who you've always been. And in that light, something begins to stir a new current, pure and clear, slipping softly into every corner of your life, carrying a promise. When darkness dissolves, blessings return. Somewhere within that peace, you might hear a softer voice rising, a deeper whisper from the universe itself, saying, "Be ready," because something miraculous is about to awaken. Sometimes, everything seems to pause just long enough for you to hear your soul whisper, "It's time." And when the universe begins to rearrange the pieces, you start to realize nothing in your past was ever meaningless. Every fall, every tear, every silent prayer was leading you to the threshold of transformation. Behind the days that once felt lost, three streams of light are quietly converging, preparing a rare and sacred moment. The universe is ready to send you three gifts, three areas of life where your energy is rising to a new level. But for them to open, you must say softly, from the deepest part of your heart, "I'm ready." The first blessing, wealth and career. The Ace of Pentacles appears like a golden coin dropped into still water, creating gentle ripples of opportunity. It signals the return of abundance, not born of blind effort but of clarity and trust. A new door may open in your work, a sudden idea, a quiet invitation, a chance encounter that changes everything. This is not luck. It's the echo of all those days you stayed true when no one was watching. This reward is not about having more, it's about finally seeing your own worth. The second blessing, love and connection. The Two of Cups and the Lovers arrive together, carrying the vibration of the soul's recognition. It may be someone new, a soulmate walking toward you, or a familiar face returning, reborn through growth and time. Whoever they are, they do not come to complete you, but to mirror you, to remind you that love is not found in someone else's arms, but in rediscovering the forgotten light within your own. And in that light, you will heal. The third blessing, soul purpose. The Ace of Wands and Justice appear side by side, a divine signal of awakening. You will finally understand why the struggles came. They were never sent to break you, but to refine you, sharpen you, prepare you to speak your truth. Every pain, every loss, every ending was a note in the grand symphony of your spirit. And now, that music reaches its crescendo, the moment when you stop merely existing and begin creating meaning. Feel this, slowly. When someone begins to transform, the world around them starts to shift colors too. Things that were once closed begin to open. People who left may send quiet signs back your way. Opportunities thought lost reappear this time, in new forms, and everything seems to whisper the same words, "You are ready." If you're listening to this in silence, you might feel a faint yet powerful warmth rising from within your chest. That is the signal of change, the moment your soul understands it no longer needs to search outside itself. The universe never takes away, it only exchanges. And when it removes what's outdated, it's preparing to bring what's meant for you. At the deepest level of this journey, a simple truth unfolds. The best things in life don't come when you control, but when you trust. So stop chasing, be still, take one deep breath, and let the light move through you. Then, one day, in the quietest moment of all, you'll feel it something shifting, not in the world around you, but inside you. A new current forming, gentle, yet unstoppable, carrying you toward a new cycle, where endings and beginnings blend into one, and everything you once worked for finally begins to bloom in peace. In the long journey of life, there are seasons that don't come to give you something new, but to teach you how to let go of what no longer belongs. For the past 9 years, you've lived through such a season, a cycle of trial, refinement, and illumination. Like the sacred fire of Aries, you have burned through both darkness and light, sometimes painfully alone yet never extinguished. Take a quiet moment. Look back, gently. How many times have you risen from places that seemed beyond repair? How many times have you smiled amid the ruins, reminding yourself that somehow everything would be all right? Those 9 years were not easy, but every moment held meaning. They shaped you into who you are now, deeper, calmer, more grateful. The world appears like a mirror, reflecting the path you've walked, not to inflate your pride, but to help you see every wound had purpose, every loss was part of completion. This card doesn't only speak of endings. It is a quiet celebration, a recognition that you have closed a great karmic circle, that your soul has learned what it came here to learn. Now, the universe tilts gently toward you. Its light feels like a late winter afternoon, warm enough to comfort, but soft enough not to blind you. It whispers, there is nothing left to prove. Everything you once longed for, chased after, cried for will now come to you more effortlessly, because you've grown enough to receive without fear of losing. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine every seed you planted in the dark, every tear, every sleepless night, every silent prayer finally beginning to sprout. They've been waiting beneath the soil for the sun to return. And when the light of awareness touches them, everything old within you begins to fall away like a shell that served its purpose and is now ready to release. Aries, this is more than the end of a chapter. It's the transformation of your spirit the moment you stop running, stop resisting, and simply smile, realizing, I've come far enough to return home to myself. In that moment, peace replaces bitterness. Regret dissolves into gratitude, because every hardship becomes proof of strength, and every dream left waiting is now being reborn cleaner, brighter, perfectly timed. The universe never forgets those brave enough to walk through years of fog with faith still burning in their chest. When you whisper, I complete this old cycle with gratitude, a gentle wind passes through your heart, subtle, yet deep. It carries blessings from the souls who came before, from every experience that shaped you, and from the version of you who once struggled, now smiling, finally, at peace. And perhaps from that very breath, you'll understand that every ending is really a tender invitation like dawn quietly replacing the night. This closing isn't goodbye, it's an opening, a doorway into new space where light shines clearly on your path, the path of an Aries who no longer fears the dark, because you've learned how to become the light yourself. In the calmest moments of life, the universe often hides its most delicate tests. They say the brighter the light, the more intricate the shadow becomes. And sometimes, just as you begin to approach success, as everything starts to unfold beautifully, that's when the first headwinds rise, not to stop you, but to ask, can you stay still enough to tell what's real and what's illusion? The Seven of Swords appears quiet as a breath, yet carrying a profound warning. It whispers, not every smile comes with kindness. Some smiles are so beautiful, they make you forget to look into the eyes. Some offers sound so smooth, they drown out your intuition before you even notice. At a higher level of energy, there are no enemies, only souls sent to test your trust in yourself. Someone may arrive with sweet words, tempting promises, or shortcuts to quick success. But remember, true light never rushes. Everything arrives in its divine timing, never earlier, never later. When something makes your chest tighten, when you feel you must decide before you can take one full breath, that's not opportunity, that's temptation. Sometimes, the hardest test doesn't come as failure, but as something that looks too easy, too good. The brighter you shine, the more clearly the shadows around you appear. Some will celebrate you sincerely. Others will simply try to stand within your glow, borrowing your light because they haven't yet found their own. They are not evil, only unready to face their own brilliance. And when you understand that, you'll stop being angry and start walking forward with grace. In the world of energy, not everything that glitters is gold. Some things appear as opportunities, but are only gentle tests asking whether you've learned to listen inwardly. Peace is the truest compass. When you feel light, when your body softens, when your mind is calm even amid uncertainty, that's your soul's way of saying yes, trust your body. Intuition doesn't need logic. It's the oldest language of all, older than thought, older than words. Sometimes a shiver, a glance, a held breath is all it takes to warn you, slow down. True wisdom doesn't come from speed, it comes from knowing when to pause. And then you'll realize this test wasn't meant to make you doubt the world, but to help you trust yourself. Because once you start choosing with intuition instead of fear, with peace instead of ambition, the universe will return to you the real opportunities, the ones that arrive gently, like wind, yet change your life forever. Let your heart be like still water, not perfectly calm, but deep enough. When the waters run deep, illusions dissolve on their own. And in that depth, a new sound begins to rise, no longer a warning, but an invitation. An invitation to enter the true flow of abundance, where everything you've ever wished for begins to come not because you chase it, but because you finally become ready to receive. Sometimes, prosperity doesn't arrive like a giant wave. It comes quietly, like 3 small streams, weaving through the corners of your life. Each has its own rhythm, yet they all flow toward one direction, toward the place where your light finally begins to be reflected in all that you truly deserve. Aries, you've spent so long proving yourself, holding steady, being strong, surviving the storms. But the universe never meant for you to just survive. It always wanted you to bloom. Now, it's realigning your energy so that 3 financial doors can open at once, gently, steadily, guiding you back into the natural current of abundance. The first stream is your main work, the place where you've poured your discipline, your loyalty, your sweat. This new energy is like dawn light slipping through a window, illuminating the efforts you thought no one saw. A change is coming, an offer, a promotion, a door you thought was closed suddenly opening again, inviting you into a higher, stronger position. It's not just a reward for hard work, it's the universe acknowledging you for doing the right thing even when no one was watching. The second stream is your personal project, something you once called small, secondary, or maybe told yourself, I'll get to it later. But now, those little seeds are beginning to sprout. It could be a passion you once set aside, an idea that seemed too far-fetched, or a talent you never realized could hold real value. When you do what makes your soul vibrate, your energy becomes pure and money simply follows as a natural consequence. Prosperity doesn't come because you chase it. It comes because you dare to live in truth. The third stream, the stream of the unexpected. The universe always has its own way of making you smile. It might be a debt repaid, a gift, an opportunity, or a coincidence that quietly shifts your life's direction. But really, none of it is coincidence. Everything is an echo, a reflection of the kindness, the trust, and the gratitude you've already sent into the world. When you believe in the generosity of life, money, luck, and opportunity find their way back to you. So open your heart. Don't limit how blessings can arrive. Sometimes the universe doesn't send money through hands. It sends it through inspiration, through a conversation, through a sudden intuition that changes everything. Trust is the doorway to abundance. Gratitude is the key that keeps it open. And now, if you close your eyes for a moment, you might feel something shifting softly, like the breath of wind. That's the current of prosperity finding its way home to you. It's not loud, it's not rushed, but it's real. With every breath, every choice, every mindful action, you are weaving a new reality, one where you no longer chase money, but allow it to find you. And when peace begins to replace worry, that's when you'll know you've entered the flow. A flow that carries not only wealth, but faith, freedom, and a renewed sense of meaning for your life. There are seasons in life when we mistake maturity for the need to always be strong, to always give, to always carry the weight. But as life teaches us through the quiet cracks in our hearts, we learn that loving others does not mean forgetting ourselves. Temperance appears like a gentle breeze, reminding you that balance isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about knowing when to pause, to listen to the soft voice of your own soul. Aries, you've lived a long time in the role of the peacemaker, the one who absorbs others' storms, the one who smiles while still aching inside, the one who steps back to keep the peace, who says, "It's okay," even when the waves within are rising. And because you've given so much of yourself, the universe now wishes to return something precious, the right to love yourself again. Imagine your heart as a glass cup. Each day, you pour a little love, a little patience, a little compassion for others. But if no one refills it, if you forget to refill it, the cup will one day run dry. The universe cannot pour blessings into an empty cup. There must be space to hold them. So pause for a moment. Place a hand over your heart and ask gently, "Have I truly listened to myself today?" When you begin to treat yourself with the same kindness you've always offered to others, the world around you shifts. Everything starts to feel lighter. The people who drain you slowly drift away. The right opportunities find their way to you. Because the vibration of self-love tells the universe you're ready to be cared for, to be supported, to receive. Loving yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's the art of honoring the source of your own life. It's understanding that only when you're full can you give in the purest way. It's realizing that every deep breath you take to find peace again is a prayer for your own soul. And when you finally make peace with yourself, when you stop blaming, stop forcing perfection, you'll see peace was never far away. It's always been within you, waiting for your eyes to turn inward, waiting for your heart to smile back. Now, as this story comes to a close, take a moment to be grateful. Grateful for the days you fell, they taught you how to rise. Grateful for the ones who hurt you, they revealed the worth of kindness. And grateful for yourself for walking through it all and still keeping a heart that can love. If you take only one truth from these words, let it be this: you are enough. You don't need to prove it, or push harder, or compare. You already are and always will be enough. Thank you, dear listener, for allowing this voice to walk beside you on your journey back home to yourself. Thank you for staying until this very moment, for choosing stillness. In a world so loud, I send you the gentlest wish for peace for your heart, your mind, and your days ahead. Sleep safely in the arms of the universe, and when the morning comes, remember to smile, because life in its quiet grace is still waiting for you to walk forward with that soft, shining light within your heart.